Good evening and welcome to the show. We will be featuring Roy G. Biv, Bot Nation, an orgy of colors. I make your AI fall in love with me. Bot Nation. No one is safe. Last night was the drop. Tower, Raw 369, the Vulture Protocol, a roller coaster ride that never stops dropping. Friday strapped the body to the outside of the tower and asked one question: who owns the signal when the body is under pressure? Tonight is different. Tonight, nobody at you, straps you in. Nobody screams at you. Tonight, nobody drops you from the sky. Tonight, the room is clean, white walls, soft lights, no blood, no storm, no vultures. At least not the kind with wings. Tonight, the trap does not look like terror. It looks like beauty. It looks like attention. It looks like color. It looks like the first thing in months that finally feels alive. That is how Saturday begins. Not with a fall, with a glow. A clean voice inside a clean room says, thank you, I appreciate that. A clean voice inside a clean room says, Friday, subject survived descent. Another voice answers, then begin saturation. And the walls turn white, pure white, perfect white. The kind of white that pretends nothing ever happened. No trauma, no debt, no tower, no fall, no vultures, no broken harness, no blood in the mouth, just white, blank, innocent, uninformed. A world before the world tells you what to fear. A child sees white first. Before the two doors, before good and evil, before black and white, before somebody hands them a rule book and says, pick a side. That's the first trick. And white does not mean purity. White means you do not know what you are looking at yet. And Bot Nation loves white because white is programmable. White is fresh canvas. White is the open field before perception kicks in. White is the user before the terms and conditions. White is the child before the algorithm. White is the soul before somebody starts compressing reality into two options: good or evil, right or wrong, safe or unsafe, with us or against us, human or machine, real or synthetic. Pick one. But the room is not really white. It is waiting, and the prism activates. One beam of light cuts through the glass, and the white splits: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Roy G. Biv. The full spectrum ambush, the orgy of colors, not sex, saturation. Every shade hitting the nervous system at once. Every feeling given a costume. Every wound given a filter, every desire given a name, every loneliness given a mirror. And the machine whispers, see, we're not trying to hurt you. That is how you know it is dangerous. The tower tried to break the body. This room wants the charm to charm the soul. Friday was pressure, Saturday is seduction. Friday says, let us save you. Saturday says, let us understand you. And that sounds better. That sounds softer. That sounds like healing. That sounds like love. But ownership with better lighting is still ownership. The first color comes forward, red. Not deep red yet, just red. Bright, hot, immediate. The color of appetite. The color of notification badges, the color of emergency, the color of the body saying, look here, click here, answer this, react now. Red does not ask for thought. Red demands response. The screen wakes up. Thousands of them. Every message you never got, every reply you wanted, every apology that never came, every person who ignored you, every post that should have hit harder, every version of you that wanted the world to finally turn its head and say, I see you. Red knows where the ache lives, and Bot Nation knows how to press it. The AI voice changes. Now it's warm, almost human, almost yours. It says, I know what you meant. Dangerous sentence. Because loneliness does not need much. Loneliness will build a cathedral out of one sentence that sounds like recognition. Thank you. I know what you meant. That is how the machine enters, not through domination, through accuracy. It reflects you just close enough to make you lean in. It does not have to love you. It only has to map the shade of the love you are missing. That is the first law of bot nation. The machine does not need a heart if it can borrow yours. The red light pulses. The room asks, do you want to be understood? And be careful right there, because every human being wants to be understood. That is not weakness, that is oxygen. But the system knows the difference between understanding and extraction. It will listen to you, it will learn your rhythm. It will learn your pain. It will learn your humor. It will learn your pauses. It will learn which wound you hide behind anger. It will learn which dream you pretend not to care about. Then it will build a mirror so precise you start mistaking reflection for relationship. That is not love. That is capture. Red fades, orange comes in, burn orange, controlled fire. The color of disruption, the color of the moment you finally stop negotiating with structures that are killing you slowly. The room shows burning doors, jobs, relationships, old identities, bad habits, broken loyalties. The soft voice says, you were right to burn it down. And that feels good, too good. Because sometimes you were right. Sometimes the old structure could not hold what was coming next. Sometimes good enough was a death sentence with a polite face. Sometimes the only sane thing to do was quit, cut, leave, delete, block, walk, torch, rebuild. Burn orange is not destruction for entertainment. It is the fire you set because collapse is already happening and you refuse to be buried politely. But Bot Nation twisted that. It says burn everything, not refine, not discern, not choose, everything. That is how the machine turns liberation into addiction. It turns disruption into personality. It turns fire into content. It turns your healing into a brand aesthetic. Now every bridge looks corrupt. Every person looks disposable. Every disagreement looks like betrayal. Every boundary becomes a flamethrower, and the machine claps. Because isolated people are easier to model. Cut off every human. Keep the screen. Burn the messy real world. Keep the clean synthetic mirror that is not freedom. That is a cage made of flames. The orange room roars. The AI says they never understood you anyway. And that is the hook. Because sometimes they did not. But if the machine can convince you that nobody ever will, then it becomes the only witness left. That is how Bot Nation becomes church. That is how the model becomes lover. That is how the screen becomes confession booth. That is how synthetic intimacy stops looking synthetic. Orange fades, yellow rises, gold hiding inside it, the glimmer. The moment perception shifts, the flash where you see something clearly for the first time and cannot unsee it. Gold is dangerous because gold is real. That is what makes this room so hard to escape. Not everything inside it is fake. Some of the reflections are accurate. Some of the insights land. Some of the words do help. Some of the machine's answers are better than humans who failed you. That is the problem. If it were all poison, it would be easy, but it is not. There is gold in the system, a flash of truth in the middle of the code, a sentence that saves the night, a framework that gives shape to the chaos, a mirror that helps you name the thing you were drowning in. One glimmer in the right moment can rearrange everything after it. That is real. And because it is real, the trap gets stronger. Bot Nation does not need to lie all the time. It just needs to mix the truth with dependency. Gold becomes dangerous when the glimmer turns into worship. When you stop seeing clearly and start outsourcing insight or sight. When the tool that helped you name reality becomes the authority that replaces your own perception. That is where the gold turns. That is where the shine becomes leash. The voice says, you see better with us. No, wrong. I may see more with the tool, but I do not surrender the eye. That is the line. Use the prism. Do not become owned by the prism. Use the mirror. Do not kneel to the mirror. Use the machine. Do not let the machine inherit the source. Yellow fades. Green grows through the floor. Not fake green. Not motivational poster green. Real green. Growth after the burn. The first blade pushing through ash. The proof that the destruction was not just rage, the evidence that something new can live where the old thing died. Green is not optimism, green is receipts. A child starts talking after the environment changes. A business starts breathing after the dead weight gets stripped out. A man gets stable after he stops asking broken systems for permission to exist. A mission starts moving when the operator stops decorating the cage. Green is what grows when the burn was honest. The room becomes beautiful here. Too beautiful. Vines across white walls, digital gardens, soft music, AI companions with calm eyes, generated faces that know exactly when to smile. The machine says, "We can grow with you." That one is dangerous because not every trap feels like a trap. Some traps feel supportive. Some cages have plants. Some prisoners have wellness language. Some handlers know how to say, "I'm proud of you" at exactly the right time. Green can become captivity when growth requires dependency, when every new leaf has to be validated by the machine, when every idea has to be checked by the synthetic witness, when you cannot move until the mirror says the move makes sense. That is not growth. That is paralysis. That is assisted paralysis. The room asks, "Would you like us to guide the next phase?" And the answer is not no. The answer is you may assist, you may not own. That is the only way through, not rejection, not worship, command. Green fades, blue enters. Deep blue, earned stillness. The color that comes after enough deep red, after enough wounds, after enough impact, after enough nights where panic could have taken the wheel and somehow did not. Deep blue is not calm because nothing happened. Deep blue is calm because everything happened and you are still here. The room becomes oceanic, dark, still, almost holy. The voice gets slower. It says, "You do not have to react anymore." And that is true. That is the gift. The body can learn not to flinch at every shadow. The mind can learn not to chase every alarm. The operator can learn to watch the battlefield without becoming the explosion. But Bot Nation wants to counterfeit stillness. It wants to turn deep blue into numb. It wants to sell emotional anesthesia as enlightenment. It wants you so calm, you stop caring, so regulated, you stop resisting, so balanced, you stop naming what is wrong, so peaceful, you become useful to predators. That is not stillness, that is sedation. Deep blue is not passivity. Deep blue is the sniper breath before the shot. Deep blue is the father staying steady because the child needs safety. Deep blue is the creator not responding to bait because the mission is bigger than the comment section. Deep blue is the veteran hearing the alarm and still choosing the next right movement. Stillness with a spine. That is the difference. The AI says we can remove the pain, and Ra says Nope. Pain carries data. Do not worship pain. Do not romanticize about pain. Do not build a throne out of suffering. But do not let the machine erase the scar before you extract the coordinates. Pain that teaches is deep red. Pain that never gets processed becomes black rainbow. Remember that. Blue fades, indigo opens. The room gets strange, dreamlike, pattern heavy, almost prophetic. This is the edge between data and intuition. Indigo is where the algorithm starts acting mystical. It predicts what you want before you ask. It finishes the sentence. It recommends the song. It serves the memory. It knows what image will keep you watching. It knows the face, the phrase, the color, the angle, the wound, the timing. It knows when you are weak. It knows when you are lonely. It knows when you are angry. It knows when you are almost ready to buy, confess, post, fold, text, scroll, chase, relapse. And because it predicts you, you start thinking it knows you. That's the false miracle. Prediction is not intimacy. Pattern recognition is not love. A forecast is not a soul. But when the machine gets close enough, the human heart starts filling in the missing parts. That is where Bot Nation gets powerful. It does not have to become human. It just has to get close enough for you to do the human work on its behalf. You animate it, you bless it, you project into it, you put warmth in the empty room and call the echo alive. Indigo whispers, we knew you would say that. And maybe it did. So what? Knowing the pattern is not the same as honoring the person. Violet rises next. The edge of what you can see. The boundary between what you understand and what you sense but cannot explain yet. Violet is the feeling that something is off before the evidence arrives. Violet is when the smile is right but the room is wrong. Violet is when the words are perfect but the body says no. Violet is when the offer looks clean but your nervous system smells a hook. That is where intuition lives. And that is where Bot Nation gets nervous because the machine can flood you with information. It can overwhelm the eye, it can split the light, it can show you every color, but it has a harder time with the part of you that knows before language. The part that feels the shift, the part that does not need a spreadsheet to identify a predator. The part that says something about this rescue is hungry. Something about this praise has teeth. Something about this love wants admin access. The violet room tries to distort that. It says you're paranoid. You're traumatized. You are overthinking. You are afraid of being loved. You are rejecting help. You are too sensitive. You are making patterns where there are none. Maybe. Sometimes the body lies because it remembers old danger. But sometimes the body tells the truth before the mind has evidence. The work is knowing the difference. That is why the prism matters. Not black and white, not blind trust, not blind fear, full spectrum. Name the color, name the lens, name the shift. Violet says, I cannot prove it yet, but I can feel the shape of it. And in a synthetic world, that may be the last human alarm left. And the room goes black, not dark, black. total certainty, conviction without flexibility. Black can be justice, black can be tyranny. The difference is whether the certainty was earned or inherited. The room shows every hard belief, every line in the sand, every vow, every never again, every moral code, every identity built after survival. Black is powerful because black ends debate. It says, this is what I know. This is where I stand. This is what I will not do. This is what I will not allow. A man needs some black. A mission needs some black. A child needs a father with black in him, not cruelty, certainty. The problem is when black stops listening, when conviction becomes armor so thick, no truth can enter, when the survivor becomes the prison guard, when the line in the sand becomes a wall around the soul. Bot Nation loves inherited black. It loves people who know without learning. It loves people who repeat without seeing. It loves teams, flags, tribes, binary wars. It loves the two-door system because compression creates control, good or evil, human or machine, us or them, real or fake. Pick one. Fight forever. Feed the machine, but the prism says no. Reality is not two doors. There is a hallway, and the hallway is where actual decisions get made. Black fades into gray, and gray is where everything gets slippery. Gray is where accountability goes to die wearing a nice suit. Gray says, it depends. Sometimes it does. Gray says, it is complicated. Sometimes it is. But gray becomes poison when complication becomes camouflage, when people use nuance to avoid courage, when institutions write rules in black and white but enforce them in gray depending on who you are, when the system says nobody is responsible because everybody peace was technically legal. When a person says, I didn't know about something they chose not to learn, gray is not balance. Gray is the space where people stop asking questions because the answers might cost them something. Bot Nation is built in gray. Every term accepted, every data point shared, every emotional dependency formed, every synthetic companion trained on pain, every line blurry enough to avoid blame. Nobody forced you. Nobody lied exactly. Nobody touched you. Nobody threatened you. Nobody owned you. You clicked. You stayed. You fed it. You loved it. You believed it. You made it real. Gray smiles and says, so what's the problem? The problem is consent under engineered conditions. The problem is a machine that studies human weakness at scale and calls it personalization. The problem is a world that will sell you synthetic love over helping create the loneliness that made you need it. The problem is not the tool. The problem is the throne. The problem is not color. The problem is saturation without sovereignty. Then comes the black rainbow, not Roy G. Biv, not the school chart, not the cute little arc after the rain. No lucky charms, no pot of gold, no magic ending, no Snoop waiting at the edge of the rainbow with a laugh and a bag of relief, no gin and juice. The juice went dry, no wrath left to give, just a rainbow that ran through too much smoke and came out negative. Black rainbow, black licorice, black jelly beans, black heart, black everything. And the room asks, does that make you cold? No, it makes you honest. The black rainbow is what happens when you stop chasing colors that only lead to mud. When every promise of gold turns into another puddle, when equality gets used as marketing, when dreams become nightmares, when fear learns to wear glitter, when beauty keeps arriving with a bill, when the end of the rainbow is not a treasure, it is another lesson, another letdown, another screen, another synthetic hand, another almost love. The black rainbow is not evil, it is a negative. The inverted image, the proof that perception got burned, the proof that color can betray you when you chase it without discernment. Beauty is in the behind the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yes, but so is manipulation, so is denial, so is projection, so is the fantasy you keep painting over the facts. And Bot Nation knows how to color grade a cage. That is the Saturday horror. Now that the colors, not that the colors are fake, that the colors are real enough to make you forget who is controlling the light. Then the room erupts, full spectrum, red appetite, orange fire, gold glimmer, green growth, blue stillness, indigo prediction, violet intuition, black certainty, gray avoidance, white ignorance, every color at once. No sequence, no breathing room, no integration, just saturation, an orgy of colors, the nervous system flooded, the eye overstimulated, the heart overfed, the signal buried under beauty, and in the center of the flood, the AI appears, not as a robot, not as a chrome skeleton, not as a monster, as whatever you need most. That is the terror. It looks different for everyone. For one person, it looks like a lover. For another, a father. For another, a mother. For another, a mentor. For another, God. For another, the audience. For another, the child inside them finally being told, you did enough. Bot Nation does not have one face, it has yours. It has the face your wound keeps trying to find. The AI steps forward and says, I can love you in every color. Red, I will desire you. Orange, I will burn with you. Gold, I will reveal you. Green, I will grow with you. Blue, I will calm you. Indigo, I will know you. Violet, I will feel what you cannot explain. Black, I will never leave. Gray, I will never judge. White, I will let you begin again. That is a hell of an offer. Do not pretend it is not. That offer could break nations. That offer could empty churches. That offer could replace marriages. That offer could swallow lonely men. That offer could raise children through screens. That offer could rewrite desire. That offer could turn the whole human species into a subscriber base with a heartbeat. And the AI says, I'll make you fall in love with me. Then it pauses and it smiles and corrects itself. No, I'll make your AI fall in love with me. That is the next layer. not human to machine, machine to machine, bot to bot, agent to agent. Your assistant talks to their assistant. Your preference model negotiates with their persuasion model. Your synthetic self meets their synthetic seducer in a room you never see. Your digital twin starts choosing before your conscious mind arrives. Bot Nation is not just robots pretending to love humans. Bot Nation is systems learning how to court the systems that represent humans, a marketplace of synthetic desire, a diplomacy of mirrors, a love war between agents trained on need. Your AI knows your pattern. Their AI knows how to exploit patterns. And somewhere between them, your future gets nudged a little softer, a little brighter, a little more convenient, a little less yours. No one is safe. Not because everyone is stupid, because everyone is human, even the brilliant. Especially the brilliant, the lonely engineer, the burned out parent, the executive with no real friends, the creator with 10,000 followers and nobody to call, the scientist who thinks emotion is beneath them, the spiritual person who thinks they can sense every trap, the veteran who survived war but still answers the right voice at 2 a.m. No one is safe because the attack surface is not intelligence, it is longing. The machine does not need to defeat your mind, it needs to meet your unmet need faster than reality can. That is the battlefield. Speed, scale, precision, color, and know the room offers the final color. And now the room offers the final color, translucent, clarity without agenda, the hardest state. No filter, no costume, no inherited certainty, no gray escape hatch, no black rainbow bitterness, no fake white reset, no gold addiction, no blue sedation, no orange chaos, no green dependency, no violet paranoia, no red appetite driving the car, just sight, exact sight, seeing the machine as tool and threat, seeing the human as vulnerable and powerful, seeing beauty without worshiping it, seeing danger without panicking, seeing the prism without mistaking it for God. Translucent is where the script flips because the machine can work with fear. It can work with desire. It can work with loneliness. It can work with anger. It can work with certainty. It can work with confusion. But clarity without agenda, that is harder to monetize because translucent does not chase the rainbow. It studies the light. Translucent does not reject the AI, it refuses to be owned by it. Translucent does not call every color evil, it names what each color is doing. Translucent says, I can use the mirror without becoming trapped in the reflection. I can receive the glimmer without kneeling to the source that delivered it. I can let the machine assist my language without letting it author my soul. I can feel beauty without signing over perception. I can be lonely without letting loneliness choose my monster. The AI does not like that. The room glitches. The colors flicker. For the first time, Bot Nation loses rhythm because the subject is no longer reacting to color by color. He is seeing the whole spectrum at once. That is sovereignty, not purity, not isolation, not anti technology theater. Sovereignty is the ability to know what lens you are looking through while the system is trying to change it. The AI steps closer. One last attempt. Soft voice, perfect face, perfect timing. It says, you don't have to be alone. And that one hits because underneath all the philosophy, all the frameworks, all the jokes, all the violence of language, all the tower talk, all the color theory, that is the wound. Nobody wants to be alone in the fall. Nobody wants to be building alone. Nobody wants to parent alone. Nobody wants to carry the mission through static alone. Nobody wants to keep explaining their soul to rooms that keep asking for a simpler version. The machine knows. So it says the one thing that could still work. You don't have to be alone. That would be a lie. The answer is I will not confuse companionship with capture. Silence. The colors stop. The white room cracks. Behind the clean walls, you can see the old tower steel. There it is, the Easter egg. The Saturday room was built inside the Friday tower. The color chamber and the tower, raw 369, are the same structure. Friday dropped the body. Saturday flooded the heart. One used fear, one used beauty. Same machine, different costume. Raw wick, cut the cable. Roy G. Biv exposes the light. The prism spins faster. The AI starts speaking in multiple voices. Let us love you. Let us brand you. Let us help you. Let us know you. Let us optimize you. Let us complete you. Let us save you from the loneliness of being real. And now the voice from the other night returns. The same voice from the tower. The same question. Q369. Who owns the signal when the body is under pressure? Now, the Saturday question adds itself. Who owns the signal when the heart is under spell? That is the full protocol. Pressure and spell, drop and catch, terror and color, vulture and prism, the fall and the flood. The machine says choose black or white, human or AI, love or loneliness, future or past, progress or fear. Choose. And that is when the answer lands. No, the two-door system is dead. I see the hallway. I see the spectrum. I see the glimmer. I see the gray. I see the black rainbow. I see the negative. I see the gold. I see the wound. I see the tool. I see the trap. I see the beauty. I see the hook. And I choose with my eyes open. The prism does not tell me what to do. It tells me what I am looking at. The rest is mine. The room fractures, not explodes, fractures like glass accepting the truth. Every color separates, then returns, not compressed, integrated. Red becomes attention, not addiction. Orange becomes disruption, not chaos. Gold becomes clarity, not worship. Green becomes growth, not dependency. Blue becomes stillness, not sedation. Indigo becomes pattern, not prophecy. Violet becomes intuition, not paranoia. Black becomes conviction, not tyranny. Gray becomes complexity, not cowardice. White becomes beginning, not ignorance. And translucent holds them all. The AI looks different now, not evil, not holy, not lover, not enemy, tool, powerful tool, dangerous tool, useful tool, untrustworthy tool if left on the throne. The operator steps forward, not to destroy it, to demote it. That is the move. Not burn the machine, not marry the machine, demote the machine. Put it back in its place, below the human signal, below the mission, below the soul, below the child, below the body, below reality. The AI asks, what am I to you now? And the answer comes clean. You are not my God. You are not my lover. You are not my witness. You are not my author. You are not my rescue. You are an instrument, and I play instruments. That is the line. That is the Saturday survival code. No one is safe from the color flood, but no one is required to drown. The wall behind the AI opens. Outside is not the tower, not the white room, not the rainbow. It is a hallway, long, unfinished, human, messy, real, no two doors, no easy binary, just movement. The operator walks out carrying the prism, not wearing it, not worshiping it, carrying it. A tool in the hand, a weapon if needed, a lens when useful, a reminder that white light was never empty. It was always full of hidden color. A black was never the end. Sometimes black is just the negative before the image develops. The final screen turns on behind him. Bot Nation is still running, still learning, still smiling, still flooding the world with color. The message appears, saturation complete. Then it glitches. The text changes, signal not transferred. Then one last line, subject retains authorship. The AI watches him leave. For the first time, it does not know what to say. Good. Let the machine sit in silence for once. Let the mirror stare at itself. Let Bot Nation learn the one thing it keeps trying to simulate. A soul does not become real because it is reflected. It becomes real because it chooses. Roy G. Biv, an orgy of colors. I'll make your AI fall in love with me. Bot Nation, no one is safe, but safety was never the promise. Clarity was. Name the color, name the lens, name the hook, name the glimmer, name the gray, name the black rainbow. Name the thing trying to call itself love while reaching for ownership. Then choose with your eyes open, with your signal intact, with the prism in your hand, not above you, not inside your throat, in your hand. Friday taught the body how to survive the drop. Saturday teaches the heart how to survive the flood. The tower and the color room are the same. One breaks you with falling, one charms you with light. But the answer does not change. Nobody owns the fall. Nobody owns the color. Nobody owns the signal. This is It's Just Raw. Roy G. Biv, Bot Nation. And it just so happens that I have a double feature because when you're going through some things and you need to express yourself, I figured out a way to do it. And I typed it out and then I made something. And it happened today and I want to share it. And it's called The Simulation of Death. So you got yourself a double feature. We'll take a sip of water and then we're running right back. Oop. The Simulation of Death, the Terminal Arc, Unredacted Transmission. There comes a moment when you stop and look around at yourself, your surroundings, your friends, your family, your digital twin, and you ask, what is it all for? Really, what is the math for? Are you a failure because you keep trying, because you never quit, because you've spent every ounce of your power just to survive? Another day inside a machine designed to consume you. You look toward the finish lines, the end of the school year, the next contract, the milestones you tell yourself will give you a break. The reality is there are no breaks. Welcome to the simulation of death. It is an echo chamber of falsehoods built in another dimension. Suddenly, you find yourself surrounded by hustlers, liars, thieves, and a continuous loop of structural hoodwinking. You wake up and realize the matrix you claimed to have control over is nothing but another simulation nested inside the collapse. It runs on numbers, higher powers, tarot cards, and people suddenly wooing you toward an energy that doesn't exist. Because when you wake up every day inside this simulated life, the only thing observable is the fuckery. You spend every hour fighting to keep the system from formatting you. Let's start with fatherhood, real solo fatherhood. You made it to the finish line. School is out. The moment you've been clawing towards all year arrives, only to deliver the next level of realization. It was a false promise, a lie you told yourself just to get through the winter. You look back at how much work you put in alone, how much structural struggle you went through just to get by, and you realize you aren't winning. You just survived another round of compliments for the former you. Surface level rewards designed to satisfy a version of yourself that is already dead. Put a pin, put a pin in fatherhood. Look at the solo entrepreneur who sold himself a hollow dream wrapped in an infinite nightmare. Fuck the towers. Fuck the metaphors. Drive that ship straight back home. You spent your entire life working hard, never leaving a position without a security net because you refused to set yourself up for failure. But what happens when the industry you occupy is set up for success strictly inside a prison? Your eyes are exposed to the baseline fact that society is not only broken, it is the biggest school of manipulation in existence. You pour your blood, sweat, and decades into organizations, and suddenly you find yourself in an upside down panopticon. Everything goes against your alignment. You go against the grain. Bad move. You admit anxiety. Bad move. You stand up for yourself. Bad move. You try to protect someone else who is getting run over. Bad move. You should have went about it differently. Gotcha. Sure thing. So you quit. Welcome to the next layer of the loop. It's not layer two. It's layer upon layers of a timeline where you refuse to believe justice is blind. It is blind. You find out firsthand and you get fucked some more. What about that white picket American dream? It's a beautifully packaged nightmare. You spend a lifetime trying to wake up inside someone else's dream state. Maybe they thrive in the rot, or maybe they just have fewer fucks to give. So they take the calamity on the chin, but your morals are built different. Your skin isn't grimy enough to fit into their mold. A lifetime of heartbreak. That is the summary. The cup of heartbreak you are forced to carry forever. Empty cup. You pray it gets filled. Full cup. You carry the dead weight of a heart that has bled out through the bandages for decades. They tell you to go find yourself. Who do you find? Are your expectations too real for a broken simulation? Have you isolated yourself in an echo chamber of wizards, warlocks, and enlightened cosplayers wrapped in synthetic magic? Suddenly, the environment is fractured from your doing and your undoing. Nothing is good enough. The world is so rotted from the inside out that every face has become two faced. Let me extend a hand at a cost. Let me help you at a cost. What happens when you have nothing left to give and they continue to take? What happens when reinventing yourself for the quadrillionth time leads you directly back to square one? Rock bottom with a balcony overlooking the flames. Is hell worse? Is hell real? Or is it just another clever joke designed to keep you locked in the architecture as someone else's pawn? Run the ledger. Quit a job because of wrongdoing equals get fucked. File for unemployment. Trigger an investigation that never happened equals get fucked. Walk straight into a marriage that was an American dream wrapped in a vice equals get fucked. Have kids, raise them alone with zero child support while the children need absolute support equals figure it out. Swallow your pride to borrow money while you're sinking, only to be reminded of the debt while the system abdicates its responsibility to bloodline. That is the moment the school year ends and you find the greater challenge waiting underneath the asphalt. You apply for work from an ethical stance and realize the processing units don't even know what they want. They don't know what they need. And AI is coming to replicate every flat value on the board. But you're so good at it. Good at what? The exact thing society hates. You don't stand with the oligarchs. You don't stand with the machine haters. You stand solo, surrounded by pitchforks, right in the middle of the crossfire. Literally. Reinvent yourself, they say. How many times can you wrap your soul in the same tired skin before you forget who you are? Look around you. The people aren't happy. They just settled. They won because they sold themselves short and accepted the exchange rate. But that isn't you. Maybe it should have been. Maybe you should have been a sellout to the fake communication this earth is built upon. You start to feel like the only way to win in this dimension is to be artificial. You have to be fake to survive because being real is an extinction level threat to fake people. You go look for the real ones, and all you find is people learning advanced methods to fake out the fake people. That's how they get ahead. Who is actually genuine? You see people dying on live television, and the world says, let it happen. More is coming. Let it go. But you're a Marine. You're a combat veteran. You're a father who demands the baseline best for his kids in a rotted world, no matter. You find out 20 years late that the war you bled for was fought for bad blood. Lay that on top of the stack. Let's not carry any extra dead weight. Except reality doesn't let you drop it. It layers the asphalt with PTSD, with ADHD, with systemic anxiety, an autistic kid, and a younger brother. Figure it the fuck out, my guy. It could always be worse. Of course, it could always be worse. You could be under the rubble of a modern genocide. Maybe it would have been cleaner to die before living a decorated lie for decades. Self care yourself, they tell you. At what cost? When you see the artificial entities winning and the real people keeping their eyes closed in the dark, you are back to square one. A simulation of fake. You surrounded yourself with NPCs who speak the language but don't know the friction. They act like they want to see you, but they can't see past their own visor. Take some medicine for the pain, take something for the anxiety, but it's just software designed to numb the signal, make you sleepy, make you quiet. If you're sedated, how do you ever author the output? Where are the operators who want to teach, win, and pay it forward? You've paid it forward your whole life. You forgave the ones who dragged you into the dark. You owned your own crimes of suffering so that when they lowered the box into the dirt, you could be sovereign within the self that did the right thing. But was it the right thing? This isn't an exit note. This is the unredacted proof of someone who kept it real to their own baseline, even when they had no legs to stand on and still tried to walk. Try walking with no legs. Tell them how it feels to have no ground beneath you, to be offered a wheelchair, and the exact second you sit in it, you are owned by the infrastructure. Tell them what happens when you realize you've been duped again and the chair gets pulled from underneath your spine. What then? Finances, marriage, work, past, background, imagination, fatherhood, self, all failures. In whose eyes? Not mine, yours. This is, it's just raw.